Okay. You guys please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Abernathy. Bush.
Here.
Dauphin.
Here.
Levesque.
Here.
Matola.
Here.
O'Connell.
Here.
Rogers.
Here.
Skolnick.
Here.
Tedford Andrew. Absent. Tedford Jim.
Here.
Wendis.
Here.
Winkler. Here. Your Honor, you have a quorum.
Thank you. Be here for Citizens Forum. Seeing nobody? Okay. Let's do the executive session last. All right. Get your pens out for my notes. I had quite a few things. Air Force Band performance is this coming week, the 8th, which is Tuesday, I believe, at 7 p.m. If you didn't go last year, it was excellent. I highly recommend it, and bring your spouses with you. It was really a good night. On the 12th is the Fishing Derby, Valley Falls Park, 8 a.m. The Egg Hunt is on the 16th, Henry Park, 5:30. Give everybody a second. Annual town meeting on the 22nd, 7 p.m. at the high school. The 23rd, VCMS is the annual police awards, 6 p.m. The 25th is the Vernon Historical Society book sale. That's at the Historic Society. There's no time here, but I think they do it. Noon to 4, okay. Oh, it's right there. I'm sorry. It's right. All the dates are on the table here. All right. On the 26th at 10 a.m. is the Little League opening day. That's Legion Field. And May 3rd is lacrosse opening day, 9 a.m. Legion Field. Definitely a busy month. All right. That's all I have for that. All right. We're going to move on to consent. We are going to pull number 3. So call them all, but the list of 3.
Mr. Mayor, motion to move the consent agenda items number 1, 2, 4, 5, and 6 as written.
Seconded by Laura. Are you pulling on any of the other ones? All those in favor? Unanimous? Brian?
Mr. Mayor, pursuant to Chapter 8, Section 5 of the Vernon Town Charter, the Town Council hereby approves Mayor Daniel A. Champagne's appointment of Ronald M. Levesque, Sr., U., 183 Bolton Road, Vernon, Connecticut, as a regular member of the Vernon Housing Authority Board of Directors. Said term to begin April 2nd, 2025, and expires February 28th, 2028.
Seconded by Laura. Anybody, any questions? All right. Obviously, I know we're going to have at least one abstention. Everybody, I think, knows why. All those in favor? Opposed? 0. Abstentions? 1 abstention. Marion Levesque.
Wait till we check. Let's.
All right. Hey, that fills up that board, which is good. All right, Brian, let's move on to new business number 1.
Mr. Mayor, the town council hereby authorizes Mayor Daniel A. Champagne or his designee to execute any and all documents needed to accept, grant, and release the easements associated with 327 Talcottville Road and the abutting properties.
Second.
Seconded by John. Okay. Everybody knows where Cumberland Farms is on Route 83? And then the transfer station's behind that? All right. So if you look at the map, the little map, it's hard to really read it. But if you look at the map, that's all of these little tiny pieces on there, or that's where it all is. It's on behind Cumberland Farms, the transfer between Cumberland Farms and the transfer station, then the property. If you're looking at Cumberland Farms to the left. So what they're trying to sell that property. Sean, you can probably explain it better than me, but let's see how I do. Basically, they're trying to sell that property. So at the front, you're going to see there's a dark line on the Route 83 side. That's for the future sidewalk. So that's being transferred to us. And then all the rest down the bottom is kind of going back and forth between the property owner and the town. It works out for us because we're taking possession of, is that the whole list? Yeah, I tried doing that once. But one of the right-of-ways actually goes through our transfer station. So we get that back, and it's just a swap back and forth that's going to work in our favor as well as the developer's favor. And Sean's here to answer any questions you may have. Any questions? Lori?
Know what's going to be built on the property?
It's for sale. We don't know.
So we're agreeing to sell the property. That's what this is for?
No, we're not. So we're doing the transfer between the right of ways there.
Okay.
Okay. We're getting a good benefit. They get a good benefit. But really, we're just cleaning up the lines. But pretty much that's what it does. And obviously, the one out front is so that we can build our eventual sidewalk out there. Or
Okay.
the business that comes in will be putting in the sidewalk, whatever that may be. But there's nobody has bought that property yet. This is just the current landowner. Phyllis.
Thank you. So the property that the developer gets is on Route 83?
He already owns that property.
Okay.
So if you look at Cumberland Farms, to the left is an open property. There's a for sale sign in front. So they already own that property. And then behind there's the transfer station. There's a bunch of right-of-ways that interconnect between the transfer station and that property. And obviously where the sidewalk's going to go. Because we have to own the sidewalk portion once they build it. And essentially what we're doing is we're basically taking back the right-of-ways that were given to that open piece of land that go across our transfer station. And at the same time, we're giving up some of the right-of-ways that we have on their property. So it's kind of like a trade back and forth. There's really no gain. And anytime, either way, am I correct on that? I mean, it's pretty much a pretty good swap.
Yes, through you, sir. There are easements that are no longer warranted. So there were some that went directly across the transfer station back before the transfer station was there. There were easements that went down to the Hockenham River for certain access and water rights that are no longer needed. So those easements are being extinguished, and then new easements that allow better traffic flows are being granted, as well as stormwater, sidewalks, as the mayor mentioned already. The site was approved through planning and zoning in 2004 for a plaza. So this is to conform with the site plan that was approved by planning and zoning back in maybe July.
So if I could continue, so you mentioned traffic flow. How will that be enhanced?
Through the mayor. When Cumberland Farms was first established, we didn't want to eliminate the access to the light. So Cumberland Farms had to give an easement to the abutting property for a driveway behind it. So behind the Cumberland Farms, there's an easement for the property in question here. to access it. It wasn't wide enough for them to put a full road in. So we're kind of taking the easement that went across the transfer station and moving it to the top of the embankment to allow them the extra 2 feet they needed to put a roadway wide enough.
So they get the Hockenden Boulevard to have the light instead of trying to pull out onto 83.
I have to say, I love that. There's just so many curb cuts that sounds great. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Anybody else? Mike.
Through you, Mayor. Good evening, John. Do you know how many square feet is the plaza was?
Not off the top of my head.
Actually, we got to stick to just what we're working on here.
I'm just curious how big.
Yeah.
The
Basically,
lot
we have no idea what would even go in there.
Okay.
So,
Thank you.
anybody else? All right, all those in favor? Unanimous. Thank you, Sean. Brian?
Mr. Mayor, resolved, the town council hereby waives the reading and adopts the following small cities community development block grant program documents. They are the Town of Vernon Affirmative Action Policy Statement, Town of Vernon Americans with Disabilities Act ADA Notice, Town of Vernon Americans with Disabilities Act Municipal Grievance Procedure, Town of Vernon Compliance with Title VI of the Civil Rights Act of 1964, Town of Vernon Fair Housing Policy Statement, Town of Vernon Fair Housing Resolution.
Seconded by Laura. So these, in order to get the small cities community grants, we have to make sure we pass these every year. And I believe they're the ones that who wrote these up, Diane? We get these from, it's not,
Every year you get it from my consultant, that's the small city, that's Peter Test.
okay, he gets them from the federal government, right? You don't have a mic. I just want to answer that question in case somebody has.
Peter Testa, our consultant for the small cities grant, is the one who sends them to us if there are any changes from year to year.
Okay. The HUD, he gets them from HUD.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. All right. Is there any other questions about the resolutions? Phyllis?
Thank you. I'm just curious if we track, like I know this, when I was in the school system, we had to track staff in terms of diversity. Do we keep track of that, or hiring of people with disability? I'm just,
For these grants?
no, for for any purpose, do we?
These are passed for the grants.
Right. But I'm just wondering if we do in any way, like the school system keeps track of staffing. I'm just wondering if we do.
What's that? That is off topic.
I think I'm talking about diversity and
We're talking about passing these, and you're going off topic to ask certain questions about what happens in the town of Vernon. These are for the small cities community development block grant programs.
right, but we're saying that we are affirmatively marketing, blah, blah. So I just was wondering about the effectiveness of what we do, and do we keep any records?
Say it again.
I'm asking about, I understand this is for the purpose of the small cities grants. I'm just wondering if we keep any records of the effectiveness of our practices
The effectiveness of our practices.
in terms of hiring, affirmative action, in terms of diversity.
We hire when we hire people through number one, we advertise, and then when people get hired, they come in for interviews and they have to pass the interview.
Right.
That's how we hire people.
Right. I understand that. I'm not questioning that. I'm just wondering if what we do in any way results in diversity, hiring people with disabilities. I'm just asking if we keep track of
I understand what you're asking, but how Do you mean changing the way we hire people to?
No, no, I'm just asking after we hire, just like the Board of Ed used to do anyway, for I don't know if it was state or federal regulations, they would track the staff. I think we self-identified.
I don't think we do that.
That's all I was asking.
Yeah.
If we know if what we do in this way is effective in diversifying our staff and hiring people with disabilities. That's all.
No, we hire people on their abilities to what their abilities are.
Well, as
Yeah.
it should be.
Absolutely.
Thank you. I'm not disagreeing with the hiring practices. I'm just
I hate to say it, I don't know why. It's like you're talking softer or something. And you know what, you guys, I fight against it ringing in my ear. So
Yeah.
I'm having difficulty actually hearing your whole conversation.
sorry.
So no, I think I understand what you said at the end, but it's my disability. So, but
So we could count that towards our process.
well,
here.
no, I can overcome it. My wife doesn't think. She thinks I need hearing aids. Bill.
Just maybe a quick clarifying question. I understand that we have to have these policy statements in place to be eligible for the grants.
Right.
Do we ever get audited against these policies? The grant issuing?
Yes, we do.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Anybody else? No? Okay. All those in favor of proposed resolution number 1? Unanimous. Brian, number 2?
Mr. Mayor, resolved, the town council joins Mayor Daniel A. Champagne in declaring April 2025 Fair Housing Month in the town of Vernon.
Second.
Seconded by Jim. All those in favor? Oh, I'm sorry. Questions? I'm jumping ahead.
Hi,
Lori.
through you. So what does the town plan to do since we're having Fair Housing Month? Do you have any activities or events scheduled for the month of April?
No, we're just declaring. It's one of the things we have to do too. We actually, I don't know if you know this, but for low-income housing, we actually exempt because our percentage is so high.
Exempt of what?
So there's a lot of, there's a lot of push right now for low-income housing across Connecticut.
Mm-hmm.
And because our percentage surpasses a certain percentage, they consider us exempt. So we have a very good stock of low-income housing in the town of Vernon.
Okay. So we're just declaring April is the Fair Housing Month, but we're not doing any events or anything for fair housing. We just making this declaration?
Well, again, this is what they require us to do.
Do they require us to do anything that it's for Fair Housing Month?
No. I think we're pretty good on our housing. We're definitely fair.
Well, I think Cornerstone might disagree since they have so many homeless people, but that's a different story. Okay, thank you.
What I didn't hear what you said.
I said I think Cornerstone would disagree that you have a lot of housing because they have so many
Well, don't forget,
homeless
Cornerstone is
families.
one of the only shelters in the entire, in our area.
Right.
Many, many towns come around. And the reason because of that is the state of Connecticut changed the rules, and some of those shelters had to they close their doors, including the one in Manchester.
So we have a lot of overflow from other towns coming to
Absolutely.
Cornerstone.
A lot of overflow come from other towns. So I think we do a pretty good job at that. And Cornerstone does, not we. Cornerstone does a pretty good job at that.
Mm-hmm. So is this going to be? Is it just this month that is Fair Housing Month, or every April after will be Fair Housing Month? Just this year?
It's April, but you know what? I think it's fair housing every month in the town of Vernon.
True.
And the only way we're going to increase that number is by increasing more housing. And if the state of Connecticut stops changing the rules for Amberbell, and that whole complex, part of that was low income housing.
Okay.
And in fact, it is a way to grow, but they keep changing the rules. And, they keep pushing off when that project's going to come together. So I'm hoping that they'll stop doing that. We can get this thing pushed through. And that would even increase by a few hundred units and make it that much more available for people. Because housing in Connecticut, there's a shortage in Connecticut, and it's horrible. And
That's
part of
what
it
I
is
am.
because it's so stinking expensive to live here,
Okay.
which
Thank you.
all of us know.
Thank you.
All right, all those in favor? Unanimous. Okay. Brian?
Mr. Mayor, the town council hereby approves the town of Vernon nip bottle program 1-year contract renewal with Opportunity Works and Troop 2020, commencing April 1st, 2025, and expiring on March 31st, 2026.
Second.
There was a lot of people that did that. But, well, you know what? Raise your hand if you did it. All right. I'll give it to Terry because she hasn't seconded one tonight. All right, so these contracts are the exact same thing we've done for the past couple of years. That's why we didn't bring them to executive. It's the exact same amount of money too. For those that don't know what that is, a lot of us do. We have something called the NIP Patrol coming out of Opportunity Works. That is some disabled individuals who get paid to go through the downtown area. They've expanded every year, and they're not just picking up nip bottles; they're picking up trash. And you'll see them. They wear their orange vests. They have the pickup little sticks that they got, and they carry buckets. And they do a really good job down here. And in fact, they take a lot of pride in what they do. And then the other part is Troop 2020, the Boy Scouts. We've talked about this before. A couple of years ago, they came and said, hey, we don't have the phone books anymore. Do you have anything we can do to make money? And the idea when we brought them on board, many of you will remember, is in our parks, we do a great job of cleaning the center of our parks. Not so much in the wood line. And so what they do is they go into the parks and they really hit the wood lines for the garbage, the stuff that blew into the wood line. And the funny thing is they had their parks, but you'll see them showing up at other parks in the town of Vernon. I saw them one day at North Darthill, and they were in there cleaning up. And that wasn't part of it. They just went in there because they saw it was dirty. So I think the troop is doing a good job. And as long as they want to continue doing this, we were one of the first ones in town, the first ones in the state that did this. They gave us this money, and it's because they can't put the nickel on. They couldn't put the nickel on the or dime on the nip bottles because the machines wouldn't accept them. So, we could have just dumped it into our general fund. But I think this is a great way for us to keep our community clean in these areas. Any questions, Lori?
Is there, or could we think of an incentive for homeowners for this? I live on a corner. And I don't drink vodka. I went to Rake. I had like 55 vodka nip bottles. I'm like, who's drinking vodka in the area? So I'm on a corner, but it's wooded, and they're just like all in my trees and stuff. Is there any incentive we have for the town to help?
We have a contract with these. We had the contract with these two groups, and both of them have insurance.
Yeah, no, I mean like
hiring the homeless, they wouldn't have the insurance, and the liability would be put on us.
Could we think of some kind of program to help incentivize homeowners to clean up that piece or something on our own property? Homeowners.
Oh, the homeowners? You said homeowners?
Homeowners.
Yeah, that wouldn't work.
Okay.
It's not a bad idea, but what I'd like is I would love to follow. Have more police cars out there. I used to write tickets for littering, and I feel bad for these people that live on these main roads because they're constantly out there cleaning up. But no, these are contracts we have, and they have their insurance, and we make sure that we protect the town in the process of doing this.
Okay.
All right. Any other questions? Tara.
Through you. I'm not sure if my memory has gone today, but was ECHN part of this?
What?
ECHN, were they part of this program in the beginning?
No.
Oh, okay. All right.
No.
Oh, that's right.
No.
Okay, something. All right. Thank you.
The first group we went with was Opportunity Works, and then the Boy Scouts came along.
Cool. Thank you.
Yeah, and if another group came along that had kind of the same perspective, we would look at them too. Yeah. Mike.
Through you, Mayor. I love this program. I think it's a great incentive for them to get out there, do a little work, help the town out, make some money. I think it's a win-win for everybody. I'm so glad we're renewing this. Thank you.
Anybody else? All right, all those in favor? Unanimous. Stupid minutes. Minutes first.
Mr. Mayor, the town council waives the reading of the minutes of the regular town council meeting of March 18th, 2025, and that minutes of said meeting be approved.
Seconded by Mike. Are there any corrections or deletions on the minutes? No? Okay. All those in favor? Unanimous. Oh, Jesse. Jesse's abstaining. You weren't here? All right. Brian, let's go back to executive session.
Mr. Mayor, the town council, pursuant to the authority given in Connecticut General Statutes 1-206B, hereby moves to go into executive session to discuss pending litigation relative to the workers' compensation claim, Andrew Green v. Town of Vernon. Invites John W. Kleinhans, Town Administrator, and Don Maslick, Assistant Town Administrator, to attend.
Second by Laura. All right. All those in favor? Unanimous. Okay. All right. All right, Brian.
Mr. Mayor, the town council hereby agrees to the full and final settlement as presented in the matter of Andrew Green v. Town of Vernon to resolve said claim. Once the settlement is executed, it will become public.
Seconded by John. All right. All those in favor? Okay, that's almost everybody. One abstention. Jim Tedford abstains. Everybody else is a yes. Brian?
Mr. Mayor, motion to adjourn.
Seconded by Mary Ann. Not in a hurry, are you? All those in favor? Unanimous. Thank you, guys. Have a great night.